Congressman Kevin McCarthy is the House Majority Leader. He joins me right now. Good to see you, Congressman. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Any special stories you can share with us of your time with John McCain this morning?
Well, I just believe great nations require great sacrifice from their leaders. There's been few leaders that have ever sacrificed as much as John McCain. He was fierce, he was loyal, he could work across the other side of the aisle, but he could be the very best person in a battle. I think the very best story is not one that he told, but one that he showed. If you just watched him put his jacket on, he never complained about what he went through, but the pain of putting on a jacket, of raising the hand. It was more than a speech, it showed the sacrifice. He could make fun of himself, but there's many times when we were in a legislative battle, and we knew we're not going to win this, and we knew we're going against the odds of the establishment and others. He's the one I'd want to be in the fight with, because he didn't care, and he would never give up. And it wasn't that day we didn't win, we're going to win the argument, and eventually we're going to win the fight.
Well, he didn't care, you're right, and that was something that made him stand apart, but I mean, it was also created some problems. I mean, when he gave the thumbs down on health care, that was a big issue, and obviously stopped anything from moving forward. But that also showed the principles that he had. He stuck to what he believed in.
Even there's times we disagreed, but I respected his ability, what he did. Even though he was home getting treatment, I've talked to Congressman Mac Thornberry, the chairman of Armed Services, when they're walking through the NDAA. He's getting his treatment, but Senator McCain would be right there doing the work. He knew exactly what was going on. There's no one that understood the military better, or the idea of what happens around the world. When we would travel to other countries and sit with those leaders, there was always a person they'd ask about, and it was John McCain, because they knew him personally, and they trusted him. And that helped America's foreign policy around the world during all different eras and different times.
He was a true patriot. Our love and condolences out to his family, obviously. And we'll be waiting to see in the next couple of days how he is laid to rest, as we reported earlier. What does this mean for the upcoming midterms? Let me switch gears here, Congressman, and ask you what you're expecting in November. It feels like you're going to have more success on the Senate side than the House. At least that's the speculation is right now.
Well, the Senate has a much different map, and the map that they're playing is a much better map. House has a history against them where the party in power normally lose seats, meaning the party that has the White House. But there's two times that's been different. When you look at what this election is going to be about, it's going to be about results versus resistance. Pelosi's resistance. And look at what results we have economically. The last time there was a party in power that had economic growth at 4%, they actually gained seats. But take this one statistic. In the last 49 years of America, unemployment has only been below 4% 8 months. 8 months in 49 years. Wow. But 3 of those 8 months were this year.
That's incredible.
It's unbelievable, the results that have been achieved. Unemployment claims, 44-year low. But what I'm more proud about, it cuts across all parts of America. If you're African-American, Hispanic, woman, some of the best unemployment you have ever seen. If you just had a high school degree, one of the best opportunities. So we've got a unique opportunity going forward. And think what we did. We rebuilt our military. Think about what we did with the VA. It used to be a GI Bill. Only 15 years you had to use it or you lost it. No, we've made it a lifetime. Or think of what we've done to combat human trafficking. Modern day slavery, where people actually trade it. 70% of that happens because of the internet. We shut that down. Wow. Or we have done the most to end opioid epidemic of any Congress before us. We've got more work to do, but if you measure our results versus Pelosi's resistance, not one Democrat voted for that economic package. So everybody who got a bonus, those 49 states that have lower electrical bills, not one Democrat voted for that. They thought it was Armageddon.
Yeah, I wonder if the people are going to hold them to account for that, because you're right. Nobody voted for this, and we're actually seeing the needle moved on economic growth. The Atlanta Federal Reserve yesterday comes out and says we're increasing our expectation for the economy for the third quarter to 4.6%. That's going to be 2 straight quarters of better than 4% growth. That's incredible.
If that doesn't do enough for people, think about what their agenda is. First, they're very clear, because they put it across the desk, they want to abolish ICE. So those MS-13 members that come across, those kids that are being trafficked, that get stopped, that ICE saves, or what about all that fentanyl that ICE saves in the process? They want to, 167 of them voted present in the process. The other thing they want to do, they want to impeach this president. They voted on it twice already. They forced the vote to the floor. Tom Steyer has spent more than $30 million. He brags that his list is bigger than the NRA list on impeaching this president.
Wow.
And then the last thing they want to do, single-payer health care. So 55% of Americans have health care through their employer. That would end. But the scariest thing of this, those who are on Medicare, you will end because they'll bankrupt it before it's time because they're going to put everybody into it. It'll bankrupt Medicare.
This is a really important point that you're making, that 60% of people have health care through their company, and that will end.
That will end. But it's not, more than 100 Democrats currently in Congress have co-sponsored it. Now let's look at who their candidates are. They got Gil Cisneros running in Royce's district. He's being accused of sexual harassment by a Democrat legislator. I mean, they've got problems with these candidates that they have before us, time and time again. Look at the individual that wants to run in Paul Ryan's seat. Numerous times he's been arrested in the process. I don't think they've vetted the people they've gone through. So this election is going to be much different. It's kind of like the weather. It changes kind of week by week. 2 weeks ago, the generic ballot was at the exact same place it was the day before the election in 2016.
Wow, so it's changing that quickly.
Yeah, remember what happened in 2016? We kept the majority, and President Trump won. So the battle is going to go forward, but the intensity level's on our side. If Republicans get out and vote, we will keep the majority.
Yeah, but I mean, you would think with all of this good news, from the economy to foreign policy and beyond, that you would have more unity within your party. You're running for Speaker. You've got others within the Republicans running for Speaker. How are you going to get together, show a unified front, so that people understand that you are all together and behind this president?
Well, the most important thing you got to do is make sure there's 218 Republicans, so there could be a Republican Speaker. I think what this president has shown, the results that he has gone, the safety that he has created. The world is a safer place. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon today. North Korea is sitting down. And when they didn't follow through, you know what the president did? Just like when he stopped the first meeting, bringing them back to the table to do what's right.
Yeah.
And then he's standing up to open up more markets for us. I think that's very important economically where we are. If you look back in history, a party that has these much results with an opposition of just resistance, with an idea that they're going to abolish ICE, impeach the president,
right.
Who wants that much chaos going into the future? Nothing will get done. And they just want to reverse. Nancy Pelosi says she wants to reverse the tax cuts, so you will pay more in the future.
She did say that. I was shocked that she would actually admit that. Look, I think the markets are giving this president and the Congress some the benefit of the doubt.
Every day.
The benefit of the doubt in terms of the trade issues and the tariffs issues. But no doubt that that is an uncertainty out there. Do you expect we will see a deal with Mexico over the near term?
I do, and I think it'll be very soon. We'd vote on it on the next Congress. But NAFTA needed a modernization. We needed to open the market up. Remember when this was written in the 90s, and think of what the financial markets have done. Agriculturally, we have to have better markets going through, lowering the tariffs, letting America's products there. That only builds to the future. Remember, the EU has come forward that they want to lower tariffs. South Korea, we renegotiated our trade agreement there. That all leads into where China's talking about in September, sitting down with us. I was just with Secretary Mnuchin this weekend. He's talked about the prospects of going forward. Each agreement we make only makes it stronger for the next. And there's not one place in the world will not agree with us of what China has been doing for the number of years, of stealing intellectual property, of...
Right.
Of really
forcing
gaming
that
the system.
Transfer of technology,
yes.
Right? And then enabling Chinese companies to come back and compete with American companies, and we taught them all about it.
It's been an unfair trade process for many years.
It feels like the U.S. and Canada have really gone at each other. Do you feel that you are going to see Canada follow suit? Let's say, hypothetical, you do get a deal with Mexico in the next week perhaps. Will Canada follow suit and come up with a better NAFTA?
I believe so. I believe we're very close. And also remember, we make policy in the world of politics. Remember what politics was going on. Mexico was having a presidential election. So it's very hard for them to make agreement at a time. That election is over, but the new president's not sworn in. First thing this administration did was go down there. As they get this agreement done, we know where Canada is, but what it only makes us stronger, and you're going into a new election next year in Canada, it's beneficial to them to have this all agreed upon this year.
All right.
I think that's positive, and then that only builds to our negotiations with China.
Right.
The more we lower, and remember this one thing, It's not America who are raising the prices. It's China who raises the tariffs on American products to enter the market. All we're asking for is let's have a level playing field. Let's have a fair agreement. And what will happen, we continue to build on these results, the next century will be America.